Wow, that's a question. Massively so, I'd say. I mean, that's a long question, as you can. I'm sure we would agree, but I think the predominant change would definitely be social media and streaming, because I think it's a very interesting subject, this, isn't it? Because I think the small venues, that the reason everyone's here today, I think that's a greater issue because of how things are. And as much as I think we'd all like to see people playing small venues to build up for their fan base, sadly people are going out online and getting themselves out to the public very quickly, getting lots of views and blah, blah, blah. People think they've had success in a moment, and those bands last 5 minutes, and they're not building their fan base. But there's definitely a whole industry issue there, I think, as to why that's happening. And funny enough, I was chatting to a friend of mine in the States, I don't know if you've heard of the States, and we were talking about the same issue, about how people just only listen to a song or whatever. So and I think in turn that's affecting venues, because I think the culture of people is changing, and they're not necessarily going to places. I don't know whether we all agree with that, but I just think how I see it. I certainly see it in Dingwalls, which is, I think, a pretty established London venue, 500 capacity, and we hire it out to lots of promoters, so we don't just see our shows, we see everybody's shows. I think they're not as well attended as they were, even if it's quite a hot act. So I think the culture is changing in people, and I think that's in turn affecting the reason everyone's sort of here about grassroots venues. It's how do you rebuild that, if you see what I mean? People are more interested in seeing something on their phone than they are, and if they go to a gig, they're watching it through a phone. And it's really interesting. There's a panel on it at the minute, which I was just watching, and it's talking about stress. And I think social media also causes a lot of stress with promoters, because they're always seeing, everybody online on socials is always talking about how good everything is. You don't see the bad. You don't get, I lost 20 grand tonight on this show. You always get, great, sold out, marvellous. Yeah, great show, great show. But that affects people, I think, because if you're a promoter and you're stressing out trying to sell a show, which we all do anyway, a lot of the time, that makes you feel worse. Maybe you might be promoting an act, right, in your little venue in Stoke-on-Trent, wherever it is, and suddenly you see another guy down the road sold it out or whatever, and he's boasting about it, and I think that's quite important as well. PRS is outrageous, and certainly in small venues. I mean, the new increase to 4 and 4.2% is mad for small venues. And I think what gets me more than anything, it's not so much the venues the problem here. It's like, does it even go to the artist? Most of the time, it probably, there's a massive organisation with a load of staff. All that half that money is going to pay these people's wages. And I don't agree with it. No, I think it's the artists should get money, yes, but half of them probably aren't registered in small venues. So if you're putting on a new band night, well, you shouldn't be paying that to PRS. I'm sure we'd all agree with that. It's crazy. How that stops, I don't know. I mean, I know there's probably the panels here about that, but I do not agree with that. I haven't got an answer to it. I'm sure none of us do immediately, but it's wrong, yeah. I mean, a small venue, if you're under 500 cap, you're going to struggle. And if you're paying out 4.2% your ticket money to PRS, when some of that money is probably going to Michael, he's dead, but you know what I mean, Paul McCartney or whatever, that's what's going on, I think.